Few video game Kickstarters have been quite as disastrous as Unsung's story. First announced back in September 18th, 2013, it was a game being developed by Yasumi Matsuno, the creator of the renowned Final Fantasy Tactics, in partnership with an unknown company called Playdeck. The title was advertised as the spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics, and in concept, it had all the makings of a great game. On January 14th, 2014, Playdeck launched a Kickstarter campaign for the project with a goal of $600,000, pledging to reimagine a classic game genre as Yasumi Matsuno weaves together one of the most complex and rich game worlds that he is known for, with inspiring class-based tactics gameplay. By its February 14th, 2014 end date, the campaign was successfully funded just hours before the deadline, and the promise was that the game would be out by July 2015. But little did backers know that they were walking into what essentially turned out to be a Kickstarter scam of the ages. It was just broken promises after broken promises, a constant disregard for responsibilities, mismanagement, miscommunication, a lack of substantial updates, and more. For example, the game not only missed its estimated July 2015 release window, there was a 4-month-long period of complete silence within that window, between May and September. Finally, on September 21st, 2015, Playdeck CEO and scumbag Joel Goodman apologized for the lack of updates, stated that development had been going more slowly than anticipated, despite their last update back in May having stated that development on the game was progressing nicely, and announced that the game would be delayed until 2016. From there, it was just more broken promises, more lack of updates, and when there were updates, they were just shady announcements like how they would be contracting an outside publisher to help fund the project, which goes against the spirit of crowdfunding, how they would be adding a PvP component around which the single-player game would be balanced, which is an all-around terrible idea and a waste of time and resources for what was advertised to be a single-player-focused experience, how Final Fantasy Tactics creator Yasumi Matsuno was no longer involved with the project, defeating the whole purpose of it, and how $1.5 million had been spent on Unsung Story's development, despite the game looking like utter shite. The game eventually missed its 2016 deadline, and there would be an 8-month period silence from December 2016 to August 1st, 2017, like literally nothing, zip, nada. When August 1st finally came around, Playdeck announced that they would be jumping ship and that their involvement with the project would come to an end, with publisher-developer Little Orbit taking over. So yeah, to this day, nobody knows where that $600,000 went. Playdeck just kinda took off without giving any explanations or taking any responsibility. In a separate announcement, Little Orbit CEO Matthew Scott leveled with their backers. He acknowledged that many will Google them and have their doubts about the studio's capabilities, recognized that the game is 2 years late at this point, announced that Little Orbit had to start the project from scratch so they can focus on a single-player tactics experience in line with Yasumi Matsuno's designs, and assured that despite not having received a single penny of the money that Playdeck raised through Kickstarter, they would honor the Kickstarter backer rewards at no extra cost and at their own expense. So we're looking at a humble little studio that has been more level with backers in one day than Playdeck had been in 4 years, giving people hope that the project might still have some legs. Which brings me to the project's most recent update, October 1st, 2017, which began by explaining that certain add-on rewards for backers would be changed or removed altogether due to miscalculations on Playdeck's part, and because not enough backers selected these add-ons, making them financially wasteful to produce, like Kindle and Windows tablet versions of the game, among other things. Secondly, Little Orbit announced that Unsung Story would not only be coming to PC now, but also to all current generation consoles, Xbox One, PS4, and even Nintendo Switch. CEO Matthew Scott said, "For me, I remember playing Final Fantasy Tactics from the couch on my PS1, and that format was quintessential to my experience enjoying the game. Hopefully this balances some of the cancellations and changes we're making," followed by details on allowing backers to replace previous platform selections with these console versions at no extra cost. Now, backers did notice that changing to the Switch version costs $7 extra, but Little Orbit explained that this was because Nintendo charges them extra for each code they requested. But to mitigate that cost, they assured backers that they would have a lot of time to decide which platform they would want the game for, so people can wait until they know that Unsung story might be good before they decide to shell out $7 extra for a Switch version. For the most part, while there were those who were disappointed by certain changes to their backer rewards, the update was positively received, with many people thanking Little Orbit for their candid honesty and assessment. It seems to me as though Little Orbit might be able to get this project back on track after all. The fact that they were even willing to consider taking on this project in the wake of the train wreck that Playdeck left behind already says a lot about their commitment and passion to this project. And it's certainly reassuring to see that they're taking their backers' frustration seriously, that they're being upfront about everything, the good and the bad, and that they're being realistic about their goals, which is something that Playdeck utterly failed at. Now, obviously it's hard to say at this point whether Unsung Story can be a good game under the leadership of a studio that's relatively inexperienced in producing high-caliber titles. Despite their good intentions, Unsung Story, as far as quality goes, is still very much a question mark. But at the same time, Little Orbit has given me very little reason to believe that they'll end up being another Playdeck. They actually exude a level of competence, responsibility, and giving a fuck that indicates they'll actually get stuff done and that we might actually see this game launch. We'll have to pray that Little Orbit understands how much their reputation is riding on the quality of this game, and here's hoping that they deliver a product that's truly worthy of being called a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm cheering for them. I feel like this could be one of those underdog success stories waiting to happen. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below what you think about all this. Is it too late for Unsung Story to recuperate, or is there hope yet now that Little Orbit is in charge? Also, if you like this video and enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. All contributions will go towards helping us remain 100% independent. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out!